Alright, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to some more Nanatsu no James Hansen stole my video.
It happened. Wild that, isn't it?
This is the biggest theft I have ever experienced in my entire career. This is the biggest hit as a brand.
I got a spicy video for you guys today. But real quick, drop a like if James Hansen has ever stolen from you. Perhaps this motherfucker steals puppies and holds them for ransom to get the Bleach anime back. Like, why would you do that, dude?
I'll steal it! No one will ever know! No one will ever know! No one will ever know! No one will ever know!
Every like saves a puppy from James Hansen. So Nanatsu no Taizai was undoubtedly a hit manga and a massive success for Nakaba and Kodansha Comics, selling over 30 million copies. But in its 7-year run thus far, about 1/3 of those sales were amassed in a single year. A year where after 19 years of Nakaba Suzuki creating manga as a profession, he would be a creator of a series that would find itself ranked in between two all-time sellers and cultural phenomenon. Now with the manga ending soon, the sales for the series are lower than they've been in 5 of its 7-year run. Aniplex threw the anime away like a dirty diaper. I think a lot of fans who haven't dropped the series have reached a point of solace. At this point, it just seems like a lot of us are just waiting for the series to wrap up, which is sad. And to put it simply, I'm going to talk about how we got to this point. This is pretty much the rise and fall of the 7 deadly sins.
Wow, that was so powerful.
So Nanatsu no Taizai originally started as a one-shot. Nakaba's done several of them. He's done a few series as well, his longest tenure being 12 volumes, and Shogakukan's Weekly Shonen Sunday.
This is big brain time.
But anyways, the Nanatsu no Taizai one-shot did well, and 11 months later, in October 2012, was the release of the first chapter of Nanatsu no Taizai in Kodansha's Weekly Shonen magazine. And by April 2014, its anime was announced, nearing the middle of the 7th arc of the series, Kingdom Infiltration. And this was around the time where I felt like the series was starting to gain more recognition. First season anime aired in October as part of the fall 2014 lineup, and the series' popularity kind of skyrocketed from there. Just a month after the anime aired, it was the 9th best-selling manga of 2014. The series would of course continue to grow in popularity from there. Around this time, a lot of basic shonen battle manga were losing presence among the top series. Also, 2014 would see the end of Naruto in a very polarizing arc, although it still sold well. But Kodansha had a massive hit in their monthly magazine with Attack on Titan. For a couple years, it was going toe-to-toe with One Piece. Other than that, shonen battle manga were getting drowned out by fresher series, most of which were running weekly. Even though Attack on Titan was doing incredible things for Kodansha, their weekly shonen magazine was definitely looking like it could use a big title even close to that. Fairy Tail, which was once the answer to Jump's hit battle manga, had its heyday but was on the decline, and there was pretty much a space for a weekly series to try to hold pace with the manga of the day. Luckily, 7 Deadly Sins was on the rise. Meliodas became the poster boy for ongoing series in the magazine. He wasn't a lovable idiot or highly ambitious. He was very inappropriate, and for 10 years his only friend was a talking pig. It's safe to say he wasn't Shonen Jump material, but I liked it. Weekly Shonen Jump has tried to do bad boys before. They're angsty teenagers, some of them a little edgy, which is totally cool. It's more marketable for the shonen demographic, I believe. My point is, love him or hate him, Meliodas was a contrast from that. But still, 7 Deadly Sins was a traditional shonen battle manga, with a lot of the fat cut, in a genre where so many characters end up becoming overpowered. Nakaba leans into that really well here, using characters that are already infamous and powerful. It felt faster than a lot of the shonen that came before it. In the Sins case, all the characters right out the gate had a lot of history, giving them a lot of mystique as well, and you just learn more about it as you go along with the story. With the series being Arthurian legend meeting something like an epic fantasy, inspired by some other great shonen of course. It was the whimsical nature of the series in those first few years that I felt like was really making it work. Around this time, Nakaba stated that his motto was "no chapter that sucks," and I definitely felt that. His style was chaotic and his arcs at times unpredictable, throwing in surprises and plot twists anywhere he could. But the one year that Nanatsu no Taizai was undoubtedly at its peak was definitely 2015. With the first season anime still running the beginning months of the year, Nakaba was arguably putting out some of the best manga of his career during these months as well. Throughout the year, Nakaba would show us Meliodas' Sacred Treasure in action for the first time, a massive power boost from Meliodas, Zeldris and Estarossa revealed as Meliodas brothers as well, and Escanor was brought into the main story, just to name a few things. Being the year that the series sold over 10 million, they actually outsold Attack on Titan, and even though One Piece still sat at the #1 spot, Nanatsu no Taizai was actually outselling it during the first half of the year.
Yeah, they had us the first half, I'm not gonna lie.
The series could never quite repeat the success it had in 2015. The next year, sales for the manga were down almost 50%, and it never got higher, even with the Season 2 anime, Revival of the Commandments. I'm going to discuss the manga's decline, but I want to say real quick that outside of Japan, where anime is viewed vastly more than manga, with streaming services and even at times social media overall influencing what content we consume. Hashtag Disney Plus and Thrust. Nanatsu no Taizai being a Netflix original instead of on Crunchyroll, that makes its release very awkward outside of Japan. While seasons 2 and 3 were airing on television, there were legitimately people asking how to watch the episodes. I can't say I condone this, but if you want to watch around the time it airs in Japan, illegally is like the only viable option. The episodes get released months later on Netflix with the dub. But aside from that, even in Japan, television anime series are hands down the #1 promoter for manga series. Revival of the Commandments was an incredible anime, so I don't want to break down why it might have taken so long, but 3 years between anime seasons for an ongoing series is not the best thing. When it comes to the manga, the Ten Commandments saga in its first half was really strong, and the tankobon sales were pretty consistent as well. In arcs like Istar and Ravens, Nakaba was doing a great job expanding subplots while progressing the main story. But following that, in the Great Fight Festival, this is where I feel like the battles really started to take precedence over the series, and the smaller plot lines that people enjoyed started to become less common and lost among the higher stakes and darker undertone. Although that's due to Nakaba switching focus of the saga onto Meliodas and his character arc. The defensive battle for Leonis was just not as well received as earlier arcs in the Ten Commandments saga in terms of the yearly tankobon sales. Comparing it to ones like 12 through 15, Volume 12 was immensely popular, one of the best if not the best selling tankobon of the series. What with it hyping Bond turning against Meliodas during Kingdom Infiltration, released while the first season was still airing, I mind you. It was a big part of Bond's entire plotline, although this event was very quick and stopped pretty easily, but I digress. There's a lot of points in the series where I felt like it could have stopped appealing to people as much, but we're simply looking at which plot lines were the most popular and which ones were starting to lose people's attention for the series. In reaching the latter half of the Ten Commandments saga, the arcs start to bleed into the next without a true feeling of resolution that you got in the individual arcs of the Holy Knight saga. For a while now, my biggest gripe with this series has been Seven Deadly Sins does not have a very good antagonist. After Meliodas' power boost and Escanor being brought into the main story, this is the time when the Ten Commandments started to become less threatening overall. Nakaba was doing a great job of building up Estarossa. Right before Estarossa's defeat by Escanor, Nakaba finally starts to introduce the Demon King into the story. Nakaba acts like he's going to start building him up, but for the most part his character is neglected. He's more basic than the previous major antagonist and nobody likes him. Nakaba just doesn't really build anyone up to be an antagonist worthy of the final arc. Estarossa was a fan favorite, and even after his defeat, he continues to be. For people who continue, the Demon King occasionally pops up to say something evil or whatever. He does basically reveal Estarossa's true nature in a twist that Nakaba really could have ran with. Yeah, but that Demon King though, I can't talk about him because that's a whole video in itself. Such a disappointment. He's boring. If you read the series, then you already know. The Demon King did nothing but take L's. Still, for all these years, Nakaba has stuck to his guns and to his narrative. Most of the time knowing when to adapt so he could deliver something awesome every single chapter. Did the Seven Deadly Sins let me down? Well, yes and no. To me, it'd be impossible to recapture the magic of the Holy Knight saga. But I'm very grateful to Nakaba for the latter part of the story as well. It showed us what happens when the rifts in the personal relationships of the characters become greater and drives a wedge between them, and what it takes to get back, as well as developing on Meliodas' character arc, making him easily my favorite shonen MC. Originally, Nakaba had only planned to do about 20 volumes. He may be burnt out, he doesn't seem quite as enthused as he was in the earlier years, but as the years go by, I'm pretty sure a lot of us are just going to remember Nanatsu no Taizai as the right way to do a shonen. Thanks for watching my video. I'll talk to you in the next one.